India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%.
US President Donald Trump isn't holding back when it comes to tariffs. During his joint address to the US Congress on Tuesday night, he took a swing at India, claiming that the country's tariffs on American goods are unfairly high. This, of course, comes amid his ongoing trade wars with countries like China, Mexico, and Canada. According to Porters, if countries like India don't make their products in the US, they'll face reciprocal tariffs, meaning if they charge high tariffs on US goods, the US will hit them right back with the same. So let's dive into the top 5 US imports to India that Trump might be targeting and how India is navigating this trade tension. One of the top exports from the US to India is crude oil and petroleum products. In 2023-24, oil accounted for a large chunk of the $42.19 billion in exports from the US to India. The Trump administration has been clear: countries like India, which are importing American crude, need to play fair. India benefits from relatively low duties on oil imports, but Trump's tariff threats could impact the cost of energy for India. Another major category of US exports to India is gems and precious stones. These account for a significant portion of trade between the two countries. The US exports about $11 billion worth of precious and semi-precious stones to India, making it one of the highest value items. If Trump follows through on his threat to increase tariffs, the price of these stones might rise, disrupting the market for both India and the US. Meanwhile, India's nuclear energy program relies heavily on imports of nuclear reactors and electrical machinery, which is another key area of trade between the two nations. These are essential to India's growing infrastructure needs. With Trump's tariffs, these crucial components could become more expensive, which would hurt India's energy sector and slow down development. Now, this is where things get interesting. Trump has always been vocal about the high import duties India levies on American cars, especially luxury vehicles. While India has slashed tariffs on certain US goods, like reducing duties on Harley-Davidson motorcycles, luxury cars remain a sticking point. India's basic customs duty on motor vehicles has been a significant issue for the US, and Trump has been pressuring India to lower these rates. If he is successful, we might see reciprocal tariffs hit hard on high-end cars and vehicles, adding more fuel to the fire. Yes, you read that right. Trump has made it clear that India's high duty on American bourbon whiskey is a problem. India's tariffs on alcoholic beverages have been notoriously high, particularly on imported bourbon, which can be taxed up to 150%. In the past, Trump has hinted that trade deals could lower these rates, but so far we are waiting for action. If the reciprocal tariffs go through, Indian consumers could see even higher prices on American booze. On the other hand, India isn't sitting idly by. In an effort to avoid Trump's tariff wrath, India has already slashed duties on several US imports. For instance, tariffs on Harley-Davidson motorcycles were reduced from 50% to 40%, and a hefty 100% import duty on bourbon whiskey was also cut down to 150%. These moves are part of India's effort to placate Trump and avoid the full weight of reciprocal tariffs. Meanwhile, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, who recently traveled to the US, is in talks to find ways to navigate this tariff tension. He's expected to see clarity on how the US plans to apply these tariffs and what steps India might take to minimize their impact. The Indian government is hoping to finalize a trade deal with the US by the fall, aiming to strengthen bilateral trade and prevent Trump's tariff threats from escalating further. India and the US are eyeing a much larger trade goal, which is $500 billion by 2030. To get there, they'll have to tackle issues like tariffs and negotiate deals that benefit both sides. India has shown willingness to discuss cutting tariffs on industrial products, including cars and chemicals, but agricultural goods are a different story. With key elections on the horizon and global economy still recovering, India is balancing its domestic concerns with international pressure to find a solution. So what's next? As the Trump administration moves ahead with its tariff plans, all eyes will be on how India navigates this tricky trade relationship. The stakes are high, both for US businesses hoping to expand in India and for Indian consumers who might feel the impact of rising costs on imported goods. However, one thing is clear. The trade war is far from over, and the next round of negotiations will be crucial for the future of US-India trade relations. Stay tuned to the official channel of the Indian Express for more updates on Trump's US tariff war.